In this episode of Viral Rewind, we're going to look at the Satanic DOS virus. Now, this virus does have a graphical payload with a destructive element to it, so there will be some data loss. However, Satanic, let me run it here. When we bring it up, it brings up a copy of the Copy QM disk copying software. It's generally used for allowing a computer to act as a diskette duplicator for duplicating floppy disks and stuff. And the program probably works, but I'm going to quit out of it. But it is infected with the Satanic virus code, and now it's been loaded into memory and will infect at least .com files as we run them. It may or may not do that with .exe. However, let me go into DOS folder here. Let's bring some .com files we can look at. So let's see. Let's look at mode, which is 23.120. And look at mode again. It still says it's 23.120. So it doesn't look like it's infecting it. If it is, it's potentially stealthy. However, I've heard the Satanic virus is actually broken. It doesn't really seem to infect files or even be able to run its payload of those infected files correctly. So let me try an executable, such as append, which we know is 11,186. Append again. Okay, it does at least infect executables because append has gone up to 12,818 bytes. So, let me also check attrib again real quick here. It's 18247. Let's run attrib. Look at it again. Okay, so that's gone up to 19,874. So, at least Satanic is showing an increase on the .exe, the MZ executables. It's not necessarily infecting the .com files, at least for what I know. And again, I don't believe Satanic is stealthy with the .coms, I just don't think it's infecting that file extension, just the executables. So anyway, let's talk about the payload. So, let me change the date here. And I believe it's February 24th. And we'll put 1995 because, you know, we may not need the date on there, but the year 1995 may be important. But I do know that it's at least February 24th. Now we're going to have to restart the computer because it has to boot on that date. So, let me restart and get back into DOS. So I've loaded back into DOS after restarting the computer on the date, and we can verify that it's February 24th, 1995. Again, I'm not sure if the year is required, but the month and day is. So on this date, with Satanic, if we run one of these infected files, and we'll try one of the ones that we infected, not the original copy that had the QM disk duplicator. So let me see if I remember. So attrib was one of those. So let's see what happens. Okay, that is obviously the caterpillar virus, but let me try attrib again. Okay, attrib, try append. Append is not working. So it looks like we're going to have to run the original here while we've got the caterpillar DOS virus working in the background. Let's go to temp, hang up here, and let's run the original Satanic infected application. Okay, here's the payload, which unfortunately still has caterpillar going. So we get this lyric printout, and it's a reference from the lyrics of Fade to Black by Metallica. And we'll keep scrolling here. And it says, "Have a nice day, Satanic Warrior." And you can't see it, but let me bring the camera down here. See, the hard drive indicator light here is full on. Although, as we can see from the screen, if I could come back up here. This thing seems to have jammed on me. There it is. Come back up. Obviously the computer is still responsive because we've still got the Caterpillar virus payload going, but what's happening at this point, as I showed you being that the hard drive indicator light is completely on right now, is the Satanic virus is overriding all the files and everything possible on the disk with Satanic Warrior. And essentially it ends up trashing the disk and you lose all your data. And next time you try to boot the computer, well, it's not going to boot. Now let's see if it's been doing enough with the payload here to see if it fails to boot. And we have to ignore the startup error. I don't have the mouse connected on the PS1 here. And you know, we didn't get any startup information there, so because usually it gives me the Jazz audio driver and a high memory system driver for running Windows for Workgroups 3.11 on here. Let's go to software. And we don't have access to our C drive anymore because it has wiped it out. Only the floppy drive is accessible.